Well, Gary, congratulations on making it through to the final 3 of Making the Cut season 2.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, and good to meet you too. Yeah. Can I just briefly, but just take you back before we get on to Making the Cut to sort of when the desire to become a designer first sort of manifested itself and you decided it was something that you wanted to pursue?
Oh, yeah, I was in art school in Chicago, you know, and I was studying, I was kind of all over the place. I was at the Art Institute and, you know, it was 88, you know, so there's a lot going on in, you know, performance art and painting and video and the fashion world was, you know, it was kind of an incredible time with, you know, I just remember all the, you know, all the designers from that time. It was just like kind of exploding. And there was this moment where I just really needed to focus. And you know, I just felt like there was a fashion department. I was like, wow, they work really hard and they get to have this fashion show. And maybe this could contain all of my ideas and concepts, you know? So that's really when it happened. And then from then on, I just went, you know, I started working for different designers and I actually worked in costume a little bit too. So I just started making my collections, you know, little by little by little.
And cutting forward to when the opportunity to be in Making the Cut season 2 came along, what were some of the things that made you say yes? And was there anything in particular that you wanted to sort of challenge yourself with by being on a show like this?
Yeah, well, one thing really specifically was that, you know, I talk on the show about this kind of narrative-driven shopping historical experience. And one thing I said, well, you know, I'm going to have to start getting in front of the camera, you know, or I'm going to have to cross some threshold. So I basically told myself, if I can create these videos of me talking about my work, then I might have a chance of something, you know, whether getting on the show or doing the show or approaching it from that way. And so that really was the main thing. And I just kind of sat down with, my camera and my phone, and I started making videos. And it really forced me to really start articulating myself and talk about my work. And that was the biggest component.
And there was a brilliant moment in the on the season where you were standing in front of the judges, which looks very intimidating in the way it's all set up. And you spoke very passionately. I think it was the Denim Week where they showed that in the series, where you spoke very passionately about your ideas and how it all came together. And I felt very proud of you. You got it all out, and it sounded. So were you proud of yourself at that moment?
I was proud of myself. I had actually written it all down and memorized it. I think I kind of regressed from that point on after that. But yeah, that was a good moment. And it kind of just, you know, people just communicate differently, and some people are really good. I'm not good with scripts, but I'm good at preparing when I'm prepared, and I'm not so good at like winging it.
And talking of videos, one of my favorite moments in the whole season was the video that you made on the rail tracks, and you got your model to come up with some poetry, something to say in it, and it just sent shivers down my spine. It was a really powerful moment and a great week. I mean, how sort of pleased are you with how all of that came together, your ideas for that?
Yeah, I was really pleased. I'm really happy that they got the whole video and the show, and you know, it was just a great day. You know, like there's so much you don't get to see, like, because you know it's not my show, so I could put an hour about making the video. But it's like we had I think we had 45 minutes, we had an hour, we had 90 minutes to film it. And as you know, that's not a lot of time, especially with the stop motion. So everything, I had a list of everything, all the shots, everything. And it was just so much fun. I think what was really important for me, that because of the time pressure, I had to really let go of a lot of conceits and let go of a lot of control, because like there was at one point where I was like yelling at Sharon. I was like, please, you got to do, like, you don't see it, but she's actually, while we're filming Lauren, she's off like doing percussion sounds for the, you know, for the track. And so there was a lot. It was just a wonderful day. I left that day, I was so happy. Yeah.
And you're in denim today, so you're obviously denim fan. That was a great week and a cool combination, because I think that was the avant-garde and the denim sort of to get together, wasn't it? And your jacket has been a hit. I would have liked one of those reversible upside downable jackets. I think it sold out too fast.
I'll be making them again. So.
Yeah. So how did the sort of concept come up for that week?
You know, it just was I knew that I knew I wanted to do something with the carnival idea and all of that. So when I went to because we had gone to the location, but everything was like before it was set up, which is like so exciting. It's like when you see the carnival come to town and you just see. So I knew I wanted to have that theme, and I was a big fan of the Ray Bradbury Something Wicked This Way Comes, and obviously there's H.G. Wells that I talk about, but also, and I knew the Macbeth quote because the summer before I did costumes for a teenage version of Macbeth. So I had that memorized, and that was actually like a pretty crazy experience. So anyway, the shape, I just knew I needed volume. And I think I've said this before, where Heidi and Tim, they're not explicit, but if you listen, they give you clues to what they really want. And I knew volume was one. And at the time, you don't see this on the show either, but I have asthma, and I've done a lot of fabric manipulation, and I knew I couldn't bleach or paint. I just didn't have the time. And so I wanted just to create a quilted textile. So in that, there's actually window screening, like nylon window screens that, so the shape was just something that like I was playing around with, and I was like, okay, if I can get the pockets to work both ways, I think this could be like upside downable, and then you could have two lengths and two different silhouettes. And I actually sold that. I remember there was a moment where it was like, wasn't on my list, and I was like, I have to start sewing the denim jacket, so I remember I sewed that in like 2 hours, like cut it, sewed it. Yeah.
So I mean, you were under a lot of pressure and we could see kind of the pressure getting to you at times, but you working through it. So it was very impressive and quite inspiring to see that. And then you also had moments of great joy. I loved you dancing on the table.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it yet, so I'm like, I thought it was like a dream or something. So, but apparently, I actually did it.
So quite a kind of roller coaster. I mean, how do you sort of reflect back now on the whole experience of being part of
That's a good question. Overall, I'm just so it was just a thrilling experience, something that I would have never been able to do. I mean, it was just, I'm so happy that I did it, and I guess I'm proud. The side, the OCD neurotic side is more like it's like I redo things in my head and I have those conversations over, and that's the kind of like neuroses that I suffer from. But then I take that rewrite and I kind of hopefully have it in the future.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm doing now.
And when it came to the final runway show, what did you want to say about yourself and your work with that? And also, there's menswear in that, and you typically don't do menswear, do you?
No, I don't. I was kind of, I felt like, I'm going to be really honest. I really felt like I was regressing a little with my old way of, I kind of was like, okay, I'm going to approach design this collection the way I would approach a collection. I'm going to have knitwear. I'm going to have prints. I'm going to have a suit. I'm going to have a pant. I'm going to have Plus you have two menswear, and then, so yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. I was kind of all over. I know there was like I was trying to connect Little House on the Prairie and television, and like all my, I used to write to actresses on TV and they would like send me their autograph and stuff. So I was just thinking about all of that. And so it's just a lot I was trying to pack in there. I know that after 2 days, I felt like I had a chance, but the first 2 days were hard. Plus, Andrea and Andrea, they were just like, and they were like, I'd look over, there'd be these this army of mannequins, and these glamazons like just staring me down, and it was, but I worked through it. It's all good.
No, it was spectacular. I love the final show, because also in that, not only did you have your two competitors creating work around you, then you also had Tim coming along saying, I don't know. Is there anyone in the public eye who you'd really like to either wear your clothes or to design for?
Well, actually, I have like a lot of amazing women who wear my clothes, that I'm just so proud of. I think but that don't wear my, I'm always like, I always dream that like Patti Smith will, buy one of my shirts or something. I haven't really made anything lately that I think she would like, but she's always like someone that I think about. Yeah.
Yes. And when it comes to gender-free or sort of gender-neutral clothing, how is that something that you consider as you go about designing?
I would say yes and no. I mean, I just think what's happening now is so incredible. Just like in the freedom of how people are dressing. And when I say people, I mostly mean younger people, it seems. But, when I was little, I definitely wore skirts in private. I was definitely that queer kid who, brought my baby doll to show and tell and couldn't understand why I was getting the reaction I was getting. I wanted to wear skirts, so therefore, so it was like there was a lot of stuff. So it's always carried through in my work, and and also just like my idols growing up were all of the queer icons, from the Wicked Witch to Joan Crawford, and then that, and then Susie Sue, and it just evolves, and it's kind of I just think it's just really incredible. Especially that's what's been incredible about seeing how people are wearing the clothes and who's wearing them. And there's just been some great interpretations of the poem and the outfit, on social media. It's just been incredible. I love it. I still, I guess, I'm just too old to think, oh, I'm going to make this dress and think of it as non-gender specific, but I guess I do and I don't, so I mean, I think that's a really good question, but it's definitely a question that makes me question my mindset as I go into things.
And it's almost as much up to the person who's consuming it in a way as the designer, isn't it? What and yeah, I think far fewer people assign gender to fabric and items of clothing. Now, I was really on the edge of my seat through the judges' discussions on making the cut. And I loved Jeremy Scott's passion when he was talking about your work. I don't know if you've seen the final episode yet, but obviously you were there when he was talking to you. What did it mean to you to have him be so passionate about you and your work?
Well, it meant a lot. I really believe it was sincere, and he really, I think it meant the world to me, and looking back on that day and that night, I think about, I have a lot of feelings about it, and but I remember walking away, I disappointed, but I felt really joyful, and of course there was like a relief that it was over. And for me, I just think everything he said was valid, and it meant the world. And also one thing that I wasn't really able to say, I don't know if it came across, but it was for me to be in front of another designer that's had like a whole different kind of experience in the world, and to be able to kind of just like be at ease with my ego, and him being so generous. It was really just a life-affirming experience.
Yeah. Well, final question for you, and it's your favorite piece of LGBTQ plus culture. So it could be a book, a TV series, a play, a movie, piece of music, artwork, or a person who identifies as LGBTQ plus, just someone or something that's had an impact on you and resonated with you over the years.
Oh, geez, like so many. the first person, you know, one writer that that doesn't get a lot of attention is Denton Welch, who's one of my I think he wrote three books, and they're just the most incredible. I'm thinking about British people now because they're British, but
that's good.
You know, everything Michael Clark did with Lee Bowery and everything, and all of, you know, yeah, all of that. And then, like I said, you know, I think that I talked about this on the show, but you know, growing up, it was mostly kind of female icons that were a big influence. And you know, I mentioned this, I don't know if I've really mentioned it out loud, but like the movie 9 to 5 had a big influence on me. And at the time, you know, now I can look back and really understand from why, you know, when you think about Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda and Dolly Parton, these three amazing women, and what it was like for a kid to just see them, not knowing fully what was going on. But that changed my life. Yeah.
Well, Gary Graham, thanks very much. Congratulations again, and look forward to seeing more of your work and chatting again in the future.
Great. Thank you so much, Gene.